Well, sorry guys, forgot to put the sound back on. Really glad to be here. I really appreciate it, guys. I was in Pittsburgh for a couple days. Really enjoyed it. Yes, it's coming back, guys. So what I did was is I was in Pittsburgh for a work conference, and I came back, and then what I was doing was trying to figure out how to kind of configure this blind mashup I'm going to do with my favorite bourbons of 2018. But really excited to be back. Thank you for checking in, guys. I really appreciate it. Thank you for watching my new review today that I posted, which is this guy right here, the Cream of Kentucky, 11 and a half year bourbon, the new one by Jim Rutledge. Really, really enjoyed it, as you saw on the review. I could not wait to get into it. It's one of those bourbons that as you just keep sipping on it, it just got better and better and better. And I've been sipping on it a little bit, and I absolutely love it. It's really, as I mentioned in the review, it's really the finish that really kind of sold me. So let's go into the chat, and let me see what you guys are saying here. Let me say hi to everybody. I'm going to go back here to the beginning here, guys. We have a lot of people in the chat already. We have 44 watching so far. We got Steve A. How you doing, sir? Mike Snook. Bourbon Sane is in the house. How you doing, guys? Bourbon Sane, I really like your channel, what you're doing. If you guys haven't checked out Bourbon Sane's channel, go check him out on YouTube. He's doing a great job. Let's see. Who else we got here? Kenneth Kennelty's in the house. How you doing, man? Nice to see you. The Dan the Man Trout. How you doing, buddy? Thanks for coming in. If anyone has any questions that I miss, forward them to Dan. He is my moderator in the chat today, as usual. Who else we got in the chat today? We had Jim Shannon. Nice to see you, man. Glad for coming in. Steven Sussman's in the house. William Davilar. Nice to see you, man. Thanks for coming in. Who else we have? Carl H. is here. Brandon Weiss. How you doing? Dave Sitterman. How you doing? Whiskey Wednesday. Nice to see you, man. Eric Waite out from California. How you doing, man? Mose Chun. If you haven't checked out Eric Waite's channel, go check out his channel. I just did a live with him recently. Had a great time. Christine Deems is in the house. Hello from Oregon. How you doing? Cap and Make It Happen, live from Texas. Nice to see you, man. Whiskey Ace is in the house. Vegas Art is in the house. How you doing, man? My Bourbon Journey, there is my buddy Scotty. How you doing, man? Nice to see you in here. Nicholas Villaggio. Joshua Splund. How you doing, man? Ryan Follick. Everyone's coming in. Let's see. Oh, Whiskey Ace was in Columbus this weekend. Very cool. George Kaplan's in the house. How you doing, Cap? Everyone is Tofamatics here. Tammy Brennicke's here. How you doing? Nice to see you, Tammy. Thanks for coming in. Amy W. There she is. Amy and George Kaplan in the house. The royal couple of YouTube whiskeydom. How you doing, guys? Let's see. Jason Coates is here. Jared Oz. And I think I'm all caught up for the most part. All right. Very cool. All right, so Today, what I really wanted to do was recap my top 5 bourbons for 2018. Yeah, the Four Roses. Somebody just commented the Four Roses looking very low. Yeah, I'm almost out of this stuff. I sipped on this a good amount, but I also made it a good point to share a lot of this with friends and family. Who I really wanted to try this. They all loved it. Everyone I gave it to. If you all checked out Whiskey in the Six, Rob from Canada. Him and Jeremy from Sipper Social Club, they tried a sample of it. They loved it. It was really cool. So today, what I thought I'd do, which would be pretty fun, is take my top 5 bourbons for 2018 and put them in a blind sample test. So I have 5 glasses here that are all blind, and I'll pull my camera down and I'll show you guys here. So here's the setup. I have my 5 here. They're all marked underneath. I mixed them all around. I don't know what's in what, but one contains my number 5 bourbon of the year, which was the Booker's Kitchen Table. So this was my number 5 pick. My favorite Booker's release is Barely Edged Out Kathleen's Batch for my number 1. Anyone in the chat have this bottle, or everyone tried it? I'm just curious if anyone in the chat has tried this one yet, other than me, because I absolutely love this stuff. I definitely think it was my favorite Booker's. It definitely started out a little bit oaky, but as I mentioned in my video, as it sipped down, the sweetness starts coming through, and it just provided a really, really good balance. And then that brought me to my number 4 bourbon of the year, which is right here, the Belle Meade Cask Strength Reserve. This was one of those bourbons that really surprised me on how good it was. This is my second bottle. My first one, I just kept sipping on it just to see how it got, and it just got better and better and better over time. The nice high proof to it. I love a high rye bourbon. This is definitely a high rye bourbon. It's got a lot of flavor to it. Let's see. Bourbon said the kitchen table is straight fire. Hey, Daniel from Whiskey Throttle's in the house. How you doing, man? Nice to see you, Daniel. Thanks for coming in. Jim Shannon, yes, has a sample from a good friend. Aha, Jim, yes. Jim got a sample from the kitchen table. Nicholas Villaggio, kitchen table is getting a lot of good press. Yeah, I've been seeing that too, and I'm glad it is, because it's definitely deserving. Yeah, so Belle Meade was number 4 on the list. Really love this stuff. Then we have the Four Roses, which was this guy, the 130th anniversary, which was number 3. Now I realize this is a tough bottle for people to get. I was lucky. I went online. I waited overnight just to get one, and I'm glad I did. It was just too good to leave off the top 5. When you're kind of doing top 5 lists, you don't want to pick bourbons that are completely inaccessible, like a Pappy or a BTAC. But this one was just too good to leave off. I really felt like it deserved a spot. Then we have number 2, which was the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, specifically the C918 batch, which I absolutely fell in love with. This one, you open the cork, it smells like a rick house. It just turns sweet. It turns to this chocolate cherry cake flavor. Oh my God, I love this stuff. It was so good. And then my number 1, guys, right here, the Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof. And I have to thank Dan Trout in the chat again. And he sent that sample. We did our blind review, and we had it for the first time. I went out and I found a bottle from a friend of mine, and it was. I'm glad I did, because I sipped it down, and it was unbelievable. Absolutely loved it. So, let's see here. Who else is in the house here? What do we got? Did I miss everyone? Let's see. Nicholas Villaggio. All the 2018 Bookers are really good, but the Batch 4 is the best. Oh, yeah, Vegas Art. He agrees. Yep. Brian Brennicky went to New York this week, found a whole shelf of old Ezra 7 Barrel Proof. Had to buy a few. Good job. Bourbon saying, yeah, the Kathleen's Batch was really hard to put. I was going to put that one first, but the Kathleen's Batch had a really unique flavor profile. It had some more fruitiness to it. It was really good. Let's see here. And Scott here, Vegas Art, Most Chun, William Dabble. The Kathleen's Batch was my first purchase of the Booker's. Great stuff. Yeah, William, Kathleen's Batch is really good. Definitely one of the more fruit-forward Bookers that I've had over the years. Let's see. C918 is awesome. I have quite a few backups of that. Yep. Agree, Brian. Let's see. All right. Very cool. Hey, Peter White's in the house. How you doing, buddy? Nice to see you. Tom R. Haven't seen you yet. How you doing, man? Thanks for coming in. So I'm going to get to my first pour of the night, guys. So since I'm not drinking any of these are going to be part of my blind. I'm going to pour a little bit more of my Cream of Kentucky and enjoy this with you guys. Let me know what you're cracking open. We could share a dram right now. First dram of the night for Whiskey Wednesday. I'm going to pour a little in here. This is the Batman New Orleans glass that I said I had. That's all blacked out. Now tonight, guys, for my giveaways, my sample giveaways tonight, I am giving away 2 samples of the Cream of Kentucky. So I hope you guys are ready for that. Should be pretty fun. Let me get rid of this screen here real quick. All right, perfect. So cheers, guys. Here's to let's see. Here's to another great Whiskey Wednesday night. Here's to the top 5 2018 bourbons. Here's to you guys, and cheers. Here's to the first dram of the night, guys. Here we go. I can't stop drinking that stuff. It's so good. It's so ridiculously good. Now, I know Dan Trout had a bottle of Cream of Kentucky. He let me know. So does Jim Shannon. I don't know if anyone else has some in the chat room, but and Dan and Jim, they kind of agreed with me as far as the flavor profile of it being this really super sweet dram in the beginning, and then towards the end, as you keep sipping on it, this amazing finish appears where it's black pepper and oak, but this black pepper kind of flavor just kind of stays in the back of your throat. It's absolutely delicious. I love this stuff. So I want other people to experience of it. So yeah, 2 samples of this going out tonight, guys. Should be a lot of fun. Also, while I'm sipping on some more Cream of Kentucky, what are you guys sipping on actually here? Probably some Dalmore 12 when I get home from the gym. Captain Make It Happens at the gym again. Cool glass, rub it in. Here's to more M&D in 2019. Thank you, Mr. Bill. Got a lot of stuff planned. Should be pretty fun. So what's going on here, guys, is what I also want to mention. A funny little thing happened last week. The Mash and Drum hit over 1,000 subscribers. So pretty cool milestone for the channel. It happened in less than 5 months, and I couldn't be more excited and more happy about it. So as promised, and I want to kind of say this now and get this out of the way before we move on to the blind tasting. And I only have one news story tonight. It's kind of a slow time in whiskey news right now. There's no real new releases coming out until kind of, end of January or February. So we'll get into those hopefully next stream. But what I do want to say is, as promised, I said once I had hit 1,000 subscribers, I want one of you guys, one of the viewers, to come on the channel and actually do a blind tasting with me, provided by me. So what I would do is get 5 drams from my personal collection, send them out to you, and invite one of you guys to come on the channel with me and do an episode just like tonight, a Whiskey Wednesday night. I'll do the blind challenge with you. Excuse me. I'll go through each glass, and should be a fun time. So, but basically, what I need to know from you guys, I know a lot of people aren't really comfortable on camera, or may have some, a little bit of hesitation about coming on a live stream and doing a blind tasting. So I really want you guys to be comfortable with it. So if any of you are interested in doing this, send me an instant message on Instagram, if you could. Send it to me straight on Instagram, and just write the word yes on there. Just send me a private message saying yes, and what I'll do is I'll tally those all up to everyone who's interested in coming on the channel, and then in the next couple weeks we'll do a randomizer, and we'll pick one person, and we'll send it out, and one of you guys can come on the Mash and Drum with me and do a blind tasting. So it should be pretty fun. Everyone saying congrats. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. Oh, Nick Sulos is in the house. How you doing, Nick? Yes, Nick is number 1,000. Thank you, man. Thanks for doing that, buddy. I'm good friends with Nick's dad, unless that is Nick's dad. Is that you, George? Let's see here. Bit of Knob Creek 25th. Oh, great pour, Dave. Definitely. Let's see. Moose 76, Nicholas Villaggio. Yes, Nicholas Villaggio was subscriber 35. Very cool. Yeah, thanks a lot, George. I appreciate it. So if any of you guys are interested in coming on live, send me a couple of send me like I said, a instant message on Instagram, and let me know if you feel like you want to come on. If you don't have an Instagram account, but maybe you know someone else in the chat room that does, maybe they could put in a good word for you. Let me know. The more the better. We really like to do this with someone. So, all right, guys. So before we get into the blind tasting, first I'm going to sip some more cream of Kentucky. Such a darn good dram, man. Oh, I love that stuff. We're going to get into Whiskey Ace. I missed what you said to message. Just to my the Mash and Drum on Instagram. Just send a private message and let me know if you're interested in being on the show. Let's see. Thank you, Dan. Appreciate that. Bourbon saying you're already well on your way to 2,000. Congrats, Jason. Oh, cool. Oh, nice job, Whiskey Padawan. Cool. Definitely do that. Yeah, I think I'm at 1,200 now already. So over the last few days, I got just a bunch of subscribers. It was crazy. I think it was kind of the 2018 video. You know, you get a lot of viewership out of that, which is pretty cool. I didn't expect that many so fast, but it was pretty awesome. So before I get into the first story of the night, I want to thank my Patreon supporters, the ones that have kind of supported me so far the last couple months. They actually already had a chance to make their first contribution to the channel tonight. I put up a poll online to say if they wanted me to do this blind taste test or to do a live review of the Lot 40 cast strength. And you guys definitely chimed in. I appreciate it. And the blind tasting won. So thank you for that. So just want to say thanks to my Patreon supporters. Here they are on the screen. Just want to say thanks again real quick. Bart, Christine, Jim, John, Joshua, Dan the Man, Juan, Kenneth, Leo, My Bourbon Journey, Will, Brian, and Tim. Thank you so much. I really appreciate it. So now let's get on to the news. So like I said, I don't have a lot of news stories, but I had one story real quick that popped up on the news feed that I thought was really, really interesting. And it says, this came through Bloomberg, and it was about Buffalo Trace. And the title just said, does the world need a 50-year-old bourbon? I don't know. Does it? So it kind of caught my interest, so I wanted to take a quick read of it. And basically, it kind of lays out all the stats for the bourbon boom the last few years. How now since 1999, the production of bourbon and bourbons that are aging has increased more than 250%. It's an $8.5 billion industry presently. It surged 14% in 2017 with more than $1 billion in revenue. But you could see how much it's grown now the last just couple years. It's absolutely insane. And the Malton Man Cave is in the house. How you doing, Keith? Nice to see you. Really appreciate you coming in, man. Everyone's saying yes. I think a 50-year-old bourbon would be entirely too oaky. I would agree there, Keith. I would. So this has to do with Buffalo Trace. So this was pretty interesting. So it says, dominating the white hot industry is Buffalo Trace with its renowned portfolio of Pappy, Blanton's, Weller, Sazerac Company. Buffalo Trace's owner is investing in a long game partnership with UK's Last Drop Distillers. So this is the Last Drop's manager, Rebecca Jago, not sure how you say that. They're looking to build up this sort of global luxury spirits portfolio, and we fit at the top of the business tree. That's coming from Last Drop. Now, Last Drop has never distilled its own product. The London-based boutique spirits brand instead seeks rare casks of exceptionally old and scarce spirits and sells them under its own label. But now, assisted by Buffalo Trace master distiller Harlan Wheatley, Sazerac will help it create new proprietary bourbons, ryes, and other American whiskeys to lay down for many decades in a newfangled, climate-controlled section of Buffalo Trace's Warehouse P. So now you have Harlan Wheatley getting involved in this, and I'm not so sure if I'm crazy about these bourbons becoming boutique-y and super high-end. I just feel like everything that we know and love always has to get to this high-end, this high-end status. I know a lot of bourbons have already gone that way a little bit. But, obviously we know Scotch has with Macallan selling, a $60,000 bourbon. I'm sorry, $60,000 Scotch, and these really high end bourbons that are even for sale at duty free shops, and really super rare ones. It's just really interesting. Let's see. Peter White says no wood in a bottle. Does the world need a 50-year-old bourbon? I don't know if the world needs one, but I do. Oh, Eric Waite, he wants a 50-year-old bourbon. Let's see. Price tag is going to be insane. Absolutely. I think the way we're doing it is okay. Richie Z. Oh, Richie Z's in the house. How you doing, Richie? Thanks for coming in. Yeah, I think bourbon peaks maybe at about 15 years. Yeah, and I would agree. I just, there are some old bourbons that I've had that have been really good. I was really disappointed in the Orphan Barrel, the Rhetoric, especially with the low proof. It didn't have as much flavor as I thought it would, but it wasn't really an oak bomb either. It was just kind of flat, unfortunately. I know a lot of people out there love the Rhetorics, but for me, it just didn't have enough of a booming flavor to it. So to go on, it says traditionally bourbon at Buffalo Trace is aged in large warehouses, several stories tall, where annual temperatures can fluctuate. We all know that. So too much interplay over a long period of time, now this is where it gets interesting, results in an unpleasant, overly woody bourbon. That's why most bourbon aging averages about 4 years and tops out around 12. Now some Pappy Van Winkle we know are aged 20 to 23. So the representative says that the last drop's portion of Warehouse P will be kept at a constant 45 degrees Fahrenheit year-round so as to restrict the amount of wood liquid coaction. So this will foster a slower, more even maturation process, just like Scotch and Irish whiskey aging, which commonly exceeds 20 years in the British Isles, which is a more temperate climate. Now, the last drop whiskeys will be monitored each year to track how they're changing, and modifications can be made if needed. I don't really like that word, modifications. That'd be, I don't really know what that means. We can either increase or decrease the temperature in the warehouse in order to manage the maturation. So Mark Brown, President and Chief Executive of the Sazerac, says while most research shows that little happens between the liquid and the wood at temperatures below 47 degrees, it's apparent that something is happening in the barrels. You walk into that room and you could smell it. I've never experienced anything like it before. So now we're talking about them controlling the temperature at about 47 degrees, controlling the maturation over this long period of time. So you don't have those extreme weather conditions where, the whiskey is going in and out of the barrel. So that could keep it from being oaky. But even if they make an amazing, delicious product, for a 50-year bourbon, you know what the price point on that's going to be? I understand they're looking for a boutique whiskey, but, it just really calls to the fact of, how is anyone supposed to afford a 50-year-old whiskey? I don't know. It's an interesting question. I'm just curious to see what you guys thought in the chat room about it. Some of you say you're happy to have it. So Michael Hassett's in the chat. He just said had Pappy tonight at a dinner, underwhelmed, especially compared to ECBP. I would agree, Michael. Let's see. Monica, the bourbon. I'm totally going to check. Okay, it's flying here. My Bourbon Journey. Yeah, go check out Scott's. Scott at My Bourbon Journey just reviewed Rabbit Hole today. He just released that. Rabbit Hole Regular. The Rabbit Hole Regular Bourbon and the Rabbit Hole Rye. Go check out that review. He did a phenomenal job as usual. Go check out Scott. Let's see. Welsh Toro. Don't see how that makes sense. What's the point of aging unless you want more wood influence? Yeah, Welsh, and I think they kind of alluded to that fact. They said that, when you age something, you get, in a regular warehouse where you get those extreme temperatures, you're going to get a lot of wood influence in there. They want to keep it at 47 degrees all 50 years. So you're not getting those super extreme fluctuations of temperature where the whiskey is interacting with the barrel. This way it stays kind of low and consistent and can age at 50 degrees over a long period of time, such as Scotch or Irish whiskey. Let's see. If it ain't broke, don't mess with it. Buddy Winters, I couldn't agree more. There's so much stuff that goes on, and people are trying to rush the aging process. And, these guys figured it out years ago. They figured out years ago how to build these warehouses, how to age it. Don't mess it if it ain't broken. It is interesting to see how a bourbon would age in a a climate like that in a climate like that. But I would want to try it. I think after 3, 4, 5, 6 years. I don't want to have to wait 50 years to try something like that. I would want to compare a regular bourbon that's say 12 years old, 10 years old, that's been aged, the way we know throughout winters and summers, to a 10-year-old bourbon that's aging in this controlled climate to see. Does the controlled climate bourbon still kind of taste young a little bit, or is it kind of evenly, aging over time? Or do you guys think they're just going to try to do that to create this big label that says 5-0 on the front and make the most money as they can? I tend to lean more towards that way, but if Harlan Wheatley's involved from Buffalo Trace, it may not be such a bad thing. Let's see. Pappy Hype. Yep, exactly. It could be. Let's see. Moose76 says, yeah, Pappy Hype. Monica Willits. I heard they were bringing back Eagle Rare barrel picks. Have you heard that? Monica, I have heard that. I have heard that the barrel picks are coming back for Eagle Rare. I guess that would make Eagle Rare, again, a true single barrel for the picks. I know the regular Eagle Rare is supposedly not single barrels anymore. They're kind of all blended together to make it consistent. Dan Tomasa seems like 10 to 15 years is kind of the sweet spot for bourbon. I agree. We've talked about that. Richie Z, more likes from Mr. C. Thank you, Richie Z. Let's see. When I turned 50, I got a card from the AARP. Eric Wade. Okay. So if you get that 50-year-old bourbon, we'll have a little AARP card with it. That'd be awesome. Let the speculators chase 50-year. I agree, Kenneth Kennelty. I think it's kind of gimmicky, and I don't know. If a master distiller as brilliant as Harlan Wheatley's involved, what if this thing gets to about 30 years or whatever year it's going to get to, and it's to him it already tastes perfect, and he doesn't want to age it anymore. They're just going to take it out of the barrel at that point, or are they going to wait the full 50? It's pretty crazy. Let's see. According to Buffalo Trace, they're still mostly single barrel, though. Yeah, Bourbon Sane. I've heard such mixed. When I did my top 5 bourbons top 5 available go-to bourbons, a lot of people I said single barrel, during the video, but a lot of people that were watching left comments that it's not a single barrel anymore. But in some spots, I've heard it's still advertised or as written as still a single barrel. So I'm not really sure. The next time I go to Buffalo Trace, I'm gonna ask. Yeah, Eagle Rare barrel picks are amazing. I've heard. I haven't had one yet. It's just something I've never run into in all my bourbon hunting. I've never seen an Eagle Rare barrel pick. Really interesting. Mr. Bill, interesting that Mr. Wheatley will never taste his 50-year-old. Exactly. That's the other thing. How's it going to even get to that point where if he's involved, if he's going to taste it, or are they just going to put it out, even if it tastes like crap? You think Wheatley will be master distiller in 50 years? Yeah, I think that's the question. Peter White, I had a couple Russell's Reserve single barrel store picks mailed to me this week. Really amazing bourbon. Peter White, I couldn't agree more. I have evangelized about Russell's Reserve single barrels in the past. It's an absolutely stellar bourbon. I really don't think, besides Elijah Craig Barrel Proof or maybe even Old Forester 1920, if there's a better bourbon at that price point. It's just amazing stuff, and some of the picks could just be outrageous. Yeah, Dan Trout. Dan is a big fan of the Russell's Reserve. So, all right, guys. So this is what we're gonna do. I'm gonna stop yapping and start sipping. So here we go. So here is I have the 5 of my bourbons of the year right here. I don't know which one is which. I'm gonna mix them around here a little bit and see which one really comes out on top. Because remember, when I was sipping these bottles, I was kind of doing it on its own. But now I want to put them all head to head and see how it comes out. So these are all high proof. So, I'll probably be feeling this a little bit at the end, which is always fun. I got my little notepad right here. And while I'm getting ready, guys, I want to do a quick plug here. So next week, now, a lot of you guys in the chat were watching this episode, and that was a few weeks ago, maybe about a month and a half. I can't, time go so fast. Myself, Scott from My Bourbon Journey, and Dan the Man Trout. We did a blind tasting that Dan provided to us. He sent some amazing whiskeys. We had Birthday Bourbon from Old Forester 2018, Four Roses 125th, the Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof. What the heck were the other two? Oh, we had the Michter's Toasted was in there, and Blanton's Gold. So he sent some amazing blind samples. So we are doing that again next week, guys. Round 3 is coming up for the Dan the Man bourbon blind sample tasting with me, and Scott from My Bourbon Journal will be on as well. So make sure you tune into that. And just like the last time, we will be giving away samples of whatever Dan's going to be sending. So should be a really, really fun show. Hope you all tune in for that. We had a lot of fun the last time. So, all right. So I have bourbon 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5 lined up, ready to go. I have them labeled on the bottom, but I don't remember what they are. I poured them a while ago. Let's see. Everyone have to remember. Oh, take care, Scott. Cheers, buddy. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. That will be a great one. Yeah, Joshua Splun. Yeah, that was a great stream. Yeah, because Joshua won an awesome sample. So, yeah, we had a lot of fun that night, and we're going to do the same thing next week, so it's just going to be a lot of fun. So, all right, here's number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm going to have I have another glass here. I'm going to take a little quick sip of water. All right, guys, so let's go into number 1 here. Not sure what this is. Again, this is all blind. This is really potent on the nose. There's a lot of alcohol coming through here. Wow, actually, it's really alcohol-y. Wow. Oh, there it comes now. Now it's opening up a little bit. Wow, this is pure cherry, corn. I could venture a guess of what these can be, which I will, which might add to the entertainment here. I would guess right off the bat this is the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof because it smells like a rick house. Still. It still really does. Really awesome on the nose. A lot of cream. Getting that cherry that comes in, that vanilla cream note that you get. Tons of oak, but really nice sweet oak, not overly oaked. Really good. Really good on the nose. I'm already calling this one to be a Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, but I'm going to wait to do my call out, see if I get right here. So. Eric, wait, are you going to do a formal review of the Ardbeg Korvyekin? Yes, Eric, I am. Absolutely. It was too good not to. Let's see. Best smell ever. Yeah, Monica, it really is. So, all right, cheers, Gabs. Going for a sip here. Oh, man, that's so good. Oh, wait, is that Elijah Craig Barrel Proof? Oh, man. That one had tons of oak, vanilla. You get this. I really do think it is because I'm getting this really nice, this cherry chocolate balance to it. That's really delicious. Let's go for number 2 here real quick. All right, so the nose for number 2. All right, so I may be guessing that this one is the Buffalo Trace because of that pecan flavor that's in here. Oh, maybe not. Now it's really caramelly, so this actually could be the Booker's as well. Oh, man. This is an absolute candy store on the nose. Super, super sweet. This is, oh my God, this is vanilla ice cream. Pure vanilla ice cream. Maybe some maple syrup on top. I tend to make people hungry when I do my my reviews. I always got to equate it to some delicious food. Oh, that is delicious. I'm getting that pecan note. Definitely vanilla cream there. I'm going in for a sip here. Oh, wow. I mean, these are all going to be great. They're my 2018 top picks, but So good. Monica Will, someone should make a cologne of the Rickhouse. Absolutely. Buddy Winters, I heard the Oogie was better than the Corey. Buddy, actually, just on my personal opinion about those two Ardbegs, I enjoyed the Korviekin way more than the Ugadal. But that's just me. All right, guys, I'm going to, I think number 2 is sort of a little bit over number 1. Number 2's nose is incredible. Number 1, if it had a better nose, I might get into it. The nose on it is coming through very alcohol forward tonight. And remember, like the beauty of doing this is you can kind of see how other bourbons affect the other ones. So yeah, I picked Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof as my number 1, but one of these other bourbons that I try could kind of affect the palate of it. So you never know. Let's go to number 3 here on the nose. Wow, this has a more musty rye type scent to it. This is definitely a higher rye. A lot of cherry, a lot of citrus in here too. A lot of citrus to be found. Orange. God, maybe a little bit of lemon in there too. But it's got like this earthy, grassy note to it. Now, if I remember correctly, I thought that maybe if I had to guess, I would say this was maybe the Belle Meade. Just because I remember that specific flavor coming to it. But I'm going to save my guesses. I'm not sure. I could be completely wrong. All right, I'm going to go for a sip, guys. Cheers. Oh, that is cinnamon red hots all day on the end. Super corn sweetness on the front, like you like in a bourbon, a little bit of caramel, but the finish on that is really what's making it. It's cinnamon red hots all day. Nice little rye kick. Maybe even a little bit of licorice there in the end. Really good. That might be the Belle Meade. I'm not sure. All right, let's go into number 4. Let's go on the nose here. What do we got going on here in the chat? Mr. Bill, especially when you mention Italian pastries. Yeah. Yeah, I equate a lot of stuff to Italian pastries. Let's see. What is that? Zagan Quadrant the 4th. I hope I'm saying that right. The C918 over the B518. For me, yes. Mr. Quadrant. Definitely. The B518 was very sweet, very delicious as well. But the C to me just had a whole nother level of balance with really great oak flavor. And that's what I always look for. That's me personally. Bourbon Saint says, I get all those notes from the E.H. Taylors, but I have never had the Belle Meade, so who knows? Oh, could be true. All right, so here, on this nose here, we have... This nose is a little bit more subdued now. This is all kind of apricot-y. Yeah, this still has those really strong flavors of like apricots and peaches. A lot of corn sweetness to balance to it. Caramels. Oh, it's really good on the nose. It's just so inviting. You got some dark fruits mixed in there too, but it's mostly these nice, bright, light fruits like apricots, peaches. It's tending to really kind of balance out where it's coming across. There's not a big alcohol, punch to it. At all. It's just kind of. It's kind of staying sweet with this really nice caramel, but then it's really ending with this really beautiful peachy apricot note. All right, I'm going for a sip. Cheers. Oh, that's really good. Now I'm thrown off because I thought what that could be, but now I'm not sure if that's it or not. That is a really great balanced bourbon. That has so many great flavors to it. It's got fruit, it's got sweet, it's got oak, it's got a nice little kick on the end. Really, really good bourbon. I'm really liking that one. Let's see. What do we got going on? Still can't get over your Rocky story, Monica Willis. Oh yeah, my poor rabbit Rocky. Yeah, that was my Halloween story. If you guys haven't watched that, if you want to hear the story about my rabbit Rocky, go back and watch my Halloween live stream. You could kind of forward it towards the end, and you can hear the whole story. It's kind of frightening. Dan Thomas says, should try the Boone County 12-year bourbon this week. Kind of reminds me of the dark flavor and density of ECBP, despite the lower proof. Dan, I could maybe see that for some people, definitely. It's definitely got a dark flavor to it. I don't have enough experience with Boone County to make a call on it, but some of the Boone County single barrels, or some of the ones that I've had, could be, a little bit close to the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof, definitely. Amy, please press the like. Thank you so much. Let's see. Am I the only one who hates the cherry note, specifically the Old Forester cherry note? Oh, Monica. Yeah, some people do not like the cherry note. Anyone else in the chat not like the cherry note? Kind of curious. Let's see. Tammy Brennicky, that Bell Mead is the bomb. Yeah, the Bell Mead is really good. There is a little bit of cherry in the Bell Mead, but it's mostly, if you like that cinnamon kick to it with a really nice bold flavor, the Bell Mead is where it's at. Let's see. Boone County in Ohio raised to $61 this month. It's a liter, though. Yeah, I've seen a lot of the prices going up recently, Mr. Bill, definitely. Bird Dog 10-year bourbon jumped from, I think it was like $28, and now it's close to $50. So it's like double the price almost, which is pretty crazy. Bird Dog Bourbon is trying to make its way into more of a middle to high shelf type echelon of bourbons, which I thought was interesting. Let's see. I'm a huge fan of the cherry. I don't like cherry notes when they taste artificial. Texas Al, yeah, agree. There's a difference between a natural cherry flavor that you can get from, I think the cherry flavors really come from a mix of the interaction with the wood and whatever yeast strain that they're using that can kind of impart that flavor into it. Like Jim Beam, I don't really get a lot of cherry in Jim Beam at all. It's kind of an aberration when I do. I get more of that nutty flavor in there. But like Four Roses and stuff like that, some of the Elijah Craigs, I will get a slight cherry note, but sometimes you do get one when it tastes artificial. Definitely agree with that. I get cherry in a lot of bourbons, but none at 1920. Yeah, Jason Coates. I think some people with the 1920 they taste more of the of a chocolate note, or more of a high oak note in that as well. So sometimes the cherry comes through. Sometimes it really doesn't. It really depends on what your palate picks up. Hey, Santa Cruz is in the house. How you doing, buddy? Bourbon saying Jim Beam products across the line have that nuttiness to me. Yeah, I call it the Jim Beam funk. It's just something that it has. It's just part of their flavor profile. So, all right, I'm going to go into the last one of the night here, guys, number 5. Oh, see, we were just talking about the Jim Beam Funk, and I feel like this one has it. Really good stuff. Such a good balance of sweet and oak, but there's a lot of peanut buttery, nutty character in number 5 here. Let's go in for a sip. Oh, yeah. That's a really good balance on that one. That's really good. Wow. This is just pure caramel candy creme brulee in a glass. Add some sweet oak to it, and that's what you're drinking. Oh man, the sweetness in that. Yeah, I talk about balance a lot. I don't like when a bourbon is too overly sweet. I don't like when it's too overly oaked. It's got to strike that great balance. And that's what was worrying me about that Cream of Kentucky. The Cream of Kentucky was coming across very, very sweet in the beginning. But as you just keep sipping on it, those oak flavors really shine through. It's really great. All right, so I think I have my guesses here of what they are. I'm going to run through them real quick one more time. Let's see here. Hey, Whiskey's in the Sixes out in here. How you doing, man? What's going on, Rob? Nice to see you. Thanks for coming in. I really appreciate it. Let's see. Anyone else? 17. Let's see. MEW, well, you're doing an awesome job. Monica Welts, that's my bourbon then. Monica Welts, creme brulee. Yes, creme brulee. Love it. So guys, before I go through these one more time, let's do our first giveaway of the night. So like I said, I am giving away Cream of Kentucky, a sample, the 11.5 year, the bourbon from Jim Rutledge, my brand new review that I released today. So this is pretty much a test. If you guys, I hope you watched it. This is pretty much a test to see how much you were paying attention to that review. So the question here that we're gonna pose for this sample, and this is gonna be a full 2 ounce sample, guys. So the question for the first sample will be, so besides Cream of Kentucky, Jim Rutledge and his new distillery has another whiskey in the works, which is going to be a rye whiskey. Tell me what the name of that rye whiskey was that I mentioned in my review. I'll wait for the answers in the chat. And while I'm doing that, I'm going to take a couple notes. I have my notes that I'm taking here about which I like best here. Let's see. I'm going to guess this one is that the Buffalo Trace? All right, I don't see any, let's see. Yeah, everyone here in the chat. We got 67 in the house, 68, awesome. I don't see any answers yet. Jim Shannon is close. Monica Willits, good guess. Crass of Kentucky. Are you guys like running back and watching it? Let's see. Oh, Whiskey Ace hasn't seen it yet. Mike Snook said he watched it. He doesn't remember the name. Spice of Kentucky. Very good, Monica. Come on, guys, gotta remember it. It's the rye whiskey. It's gonna be. He says it's gonna be one to remember. So this is gonna be an all rye. I did say if you guys look in the chat, Jim Shannon, he was very close to it. There it is. Nicholas Villaggio got it. High Plains Rye Whiskey. Nicholas Villaggio, you get the first. Sample of the night. Congrats, Nicholas. Yeah, High Plains Rye Whiskey is said to be his other offering besides the Cream of Kentucky, especially when they start distilling their own stuff. So, congrats, Nicholas. Thanks for answering. Good job, buddy. We got some really cool names here, actually. High Pryor, Lost Valley. J.W. Rutledge Whiskey. That's a good guess, Brandon. All right, good job, guys. All right, I'm going to go through these one more time. We're going to make our guesses, see if I get it right, and see. I'm going to kind of pick my number one here. Let's go back to number one real quick. I'm going to take a quick sip. Yeah, this one is that. This is that kind of really nice cherry chocolate kind of flavor I was getting in here. Really nice balance to it. If I had to guess, I would think that's the Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. So I'm going to have number one. I'm going to guess it to be that. Let's go to number two here. Whiskey Throttle, he needs some of that. Whiskey Throttle, you need some of the Cream of Kentucky? Hey, Louis Ochoa is in the house. Haven't seen him yet. Monica Wills, I don't like the actual name. Yeah. Let's see. Yeah, congrats, Nick. Good job. All right, let's go to number two here. This was the one that was pure vanilla ice cream in a glass. Oh, man alive, that's good. I'm going to guess that's the Buffalo Trace. I'm going to guess it is. And, so far that's still really, I don't know. That's tough. If I had to guess, I would put number two behind number one slightly. So right now, number two is the leader in the clubhouse. Let's go to number three. Oh, number 3 came across really good right now. That's got all the right balance. That cinnamon, rye, spice kick. That's really good. I think that just moved to number 2, which I'm guessing is the Bell Mead. And if that's the Bell Mead, I'd be pretty surprised. Let's see here. Got going on the chat. Press like so I stop nagging. Thank you, Amy. Let's see. Jason. All right, cool. I'm going to go to number 4 here, see what we get. Number 4 was the one that tasted really, really apricot-y to me. Let's go in for a sip. Yeah, that is a really, really nice balanced bourbon. It's got that apricot to it. Very light. Geez, this is tough now. Now it's got me thinking all over the place what everything could be here. I'm gonna guess that's the Four Roses, I think, but I'm not gonna let it, touch my rankings here. I think that might go to number 2. Sorry, I'm just taking notes here. All right, let's go to my last one here, number 5. This is the one I think is the Booker's because it has that quintessential Booker's nuttiness flavor from Jim Beam. Love it. Oh, yeah. It's got a really nice balance to it. It's just getting sweeter and better as the bottle sips down. I absolutely love this stuff. All right, so let me give them a quick rank here. Not knowing what they really are, I'm going to say number 2 is my first place. I think number 4 is my second. I'm going to give number 3 third place. Number 5 I'm going to give I think 4th, and last place will go to number 1 here, just because it didn't finish off. It wasn't tasting like the finish on it wasn't as good as the others in this flight. So let's see what we get in the chat here real quick before we go to the results. Always judge based what tastes best, not what you think it is, because that will throw. Yeah, Bourbon's saying that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to not really figure out what's what, but it's hard not to when you know what you poured. That's why I like what Dan does when he just kind of sends them and we have no idea what's in the glass. Those are always a lot of fun. But I just wanted to kind of revisit all these 5 and see if I mixed them up and how they interact and how they, how they can affect one another. What would come out on top. So I have as my number 5 was number 1. So let's find out. Let's do the big reveal here. So this was my 5th place, which is my number 1 dram, and that is. Oh, wow, it's the Four Roses. Four Roses, 1/30th, came in 5th place. Crazy. Wow, that's nutty. Well, no, it's not nutty. The Booker's is nutty. That's crazy. I mean, I have a feeling that it being so low probably played a factor in it, because the finish doesn't taste as full and as robust as it did when I was first sipping on it, unfortunately. But it was still, amazing bourbon. Nick has a question here. When would you rank the Cream of Kentucky in your 5 for 2018? Wow, Nick. It's a really tough question. If I had tried that bourbon in 2018, I probably would have put it in there. I thought it was that good. Now, again, I haven't sipped on it enough. I have to really see how it gets halfway down the bottle. But off of first impressions, I would probably replace the either the Booker's or the Bell Mead and throw the Cream of Kentucky in there. It was that good. It was just the finish that won me over. It was just amazing. So, let's see what else we got. Yeah, that was a really good question, Nick. Yeah, I think it would. I think it would have been in there. But what I'm doing now, guys, is I'm starting a new notebook that I'm going to be keeping notes and track of because now I have a full year. My channel will be on a full year for 2019, so I'm going to keep track of all the bourbons that I try. And this way, I think I might have an easier time really doing a really great ranking. And I have some really cool bourbons that are lined up to be trying this year. I have the Stag, I have the Weller, I have just a lot of stuff. And I also will have a full year to try different ryes. I want to do a rye of the year at the end of the year, so it should be pretty cool. So my let's see, my fourth place was number 5, and let's see what number 5 came in as. Number 5 is the Booker's. It is Booker's. So number 5 came across as Booker's, which was my fourth place. So it actually moved up a notch from 5th place in my actual rundown. So that was pretty cool. So Booker's is now 4th. Oh, really interesting. I definitely had it pegged just from that nutty flavor. It was just so good. But that beam nuttiness is just something I always pick up. It's really good. I love it. I'm having another sip. Let's see. Okay, what's expected to come out this year? I think you may have done the first media review of King of Kentucky. That's awesome. Oh, yeah. I think so too, Jim. I haven't seen any other King of Kentucky reviews on YouTube yet. So I was happy to, if not the first, I think be one of the first. So, all right. So let's go to my number 3 pick, which was number 3 in here. And that one was, now I guess this was the Belle Meade. And it is the Belle Meade. Number 3 is the Belle Meade. I have it written here on the bottom of the glass. This is just such an amazing bourbon. It's really the finish on it that's absolutely unreal. Absolutely love it. So good. So that was the Belle Meade. So that means my 1 and 2 are still there available. The Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and the actually let me see here. I had Elijah Craig Barrel Proof and the Colonel Taylor is still up there in my 1 and 2. Let's see if I pick the right slots or if one of them switched places. So let's go to my number 2 bourbon, which was number 4. And that one was Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Yep. So it held true. It held true. So my number 1 bourbon in this flight is still the Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof. It is vanilla ice cream in a glass. It's ridiculously good. Well, that makes me feel a little bit better. But let's see. So the only ones that switched places here was Four Roses moved down to last place, and I had that as number 3 in my lineup. And Booker's came in and kind of overtook that there. So really, really interesting. But yeah, maybe the Four Roses oxidized a little too much, but that Colonel Taylor Barrel Proof just is ridiculous. It's so good. Oh, I love it. Amazing stuff, guys. Really cool. What do we got going on? Jim Shannon, I think others may be steering clear to see what happens. Yeah, Jim. So with the Cream of Kentucky, now I hope that when people review it, they're not going based on first, second sips. I think it takes a few sips in order to really appreciate what's going on in that bottle. Because it's a very strange thing to me. The finish and the effect it has on the palate doesn't show up until you're about 4 or 5 sips in. When you're getting that really nice black pepper tingling in the back of your throat, you're getting a little bit of that oak to really balance out that amazing sweetness that it has. Let's see here. Jason has a fantastic palate. Oh, thanks, guys. Appreciate that. I try. It took a couple years of development. Hey, Whiskey Quest is in the house. How you doing, Antonio? Nice to see you, man. Appreciate that, Dave. Thanks for coming in. Let's see. Richie Z bought the Madeira finished last week. It's awesome. Yeah, Richie, the Belle Meade Madeira is really good dram. The next time I see the Madeira, the sherry, and I think they have a sherry, a Madeira, and they have one other finished one. I want to try to do a review with all three of them and see how they all compare, which one's the best. They have some really, Belle Meade makes some really good stuff. I know it's sourced. They're working on getting their own stuff distilled, which they're working on. But, you can't argue with, they know how to blend and age their whiskey. It's great. Monica Wills is a great show. Thank you so much, Monica. Scott Ohms, what did you pay for the Taylor BP? So the first one I got, secondary, which was 150, 160-ish. The second bottle I found that one in Kentucky, and that one I got for a little bit better price. That one came in at 120. So let's see, whiskey for my motorcycle. Scott, I think mine was 89, a little high, but no regrets. Yeah, I mean, I paid more for it, but after I had the sample, I had to get a bottle because I really wanted to, experience it. It was my first one I got to own, so. Captain Make It Happen, I think they make a triple 375 pack. Yeah, they do. Eric Waite just tweeted this live stream on Twitter. Oh, thank you so much, Eric. I appreciate that. Jim Shan, I have 4 of your top 5. Still need to get the Belle Meade. Yeah, Jim, if you see it, grab it. It's delicious. Amy still wants those likes. Appreciate it. Let's see. Okay, so let's do our second giveaway tonight. So Nicholas Villaggio, he won the first sample of Cream of Kentucky, 11.5 year. What we're going to do is give away our second sample tonight, guys. But before we do that, again, I want to mention next week, please tune in. Going to have Scott from My Bourbon Journey is going to come back on. Dan the Man Trout is going to be sending us 5 samples each again. He always sends amazing stuff that really usually baffles Scott and I. We have no idea what he sends, but we're really excited for this for another show. Again, we're going to have more samples for the winners to win whatever blind samples he's sending. He's going to have a few select ones for you viewers. Again, we're going to keep them blind until the end, until we do the reveal. It's always a lot of fun. The last one we did was awesome. So please tune in next week. I'll put up a video or a coming soon advertisement on YouTube, so you guys know when that's coming. It's going to be amazing. Again, if any of you out there want to appear on the Mash and Drum with me, doing a blind tasting, I'm going to send you 5 whiskeys of my own choosing from my own collection here for you guys to try. Do a blind tasting. I'll do it right here with you. If you're comfortable with doing that, if you're comfortable with coming on camera and doing that with me, doing a live stream, please message me at Instagram. Let me know at the Mash and Drum on Instagram. Send me a private message and let me know if that's something you're interested in doing. Just write the word yes, and then in a couple weeks I'll tally up whoever did their submissions, and then we'll go from there. And I'll pick one randomly on the show in 2 weeks. So you have 2 weeks to get your votes in, and then I will send you out, and then I'll send out the samples, and then we can do a quick live stream. I think it's going to be awesome. And on top of that, I'll send you some T-shirts and a couple other cool things. So appreciate it. Eric, wait, when are you having Brian Harrah on your show? I'm talking. Well, I'm in the middle of reading his book right now, Eric. I'm almost done. I was away. I'm almost done with it. As soon as I finish it, I'm going to connect with him and hopefully have him on soon. He's the author of Bourbon Justice, which is a great book. Highly recommend it if none of you have gotten it. It's all about the how bourbon laws way back when, how they changed and how they shaped a lot of the copyright laws that we have now today, including some other amazing fun stories with Jim Beam, Ezra Brooks, Jack Daniels. That was one of my favorite ones. He's going to be on soon. I'm in the middle of planning. I'm going down to Kentucky again. I'm going to have an interview with Elizabeth McCall from Woodford Reserve. I'm going to have my first episode called Off the Still, where I'm going to be interviewing some master distillers. She is agreed to be my first guest on that little mini-series I'm going to be providing on the Mash and Drum. Should be pretty cool hearing from a master distiller, and she's absolutely brilliant. She's really cool. Can't wait to sit down with her, have an interview. So, let's see. Oh, next week will be great, but I'll miss it. Oh, sorry, George. Let's see. Looking forward to it. Yeah, me too, man. We'll have to check that one out. The only time I read is about whiskey. Very true, Bourbon saying. All right, guys. So let's go to the second giveaway here tonight before we sign off. This will be for the second sample of Cream of Kentucky. So Now, Cream of Kentucky was originated in the year, and I mentioned this in my review today, so again, hope you were paying attention, by the L. Traeger Company in Cincinnati, Ohio. So only an hour and a half for me was the birth of the Cream of Kentucky. What year was the Cream of Kentucky born by the L. Traeger Company? What was the year? You guys give me the year, you got the second sample. Hey, Kindly's in the house. How you doing? Yes, I want to be on your show. All right, Kindly, I'll write you down there. Sounds like my kind of nerding. Yes, exactly, Captain. So first one was Moose 76, 1888. That is the answer. So Moose, you got it, buddy. Everyone say congrats to the Moose 76. You won yourself a sample of Cream of Kentucky 11.5 year. I am going to pour these out tonight, and I'm going to actually, I believe I have Nicholas's email. Moose76, throw your email down in the chat room, please, so I can just write it down real quick. I may have it. I'm not sure if I do or not, but throw it in the chat room if you can. So let me write it down. I want to contact you right away, and I want to get your samples out. I have a couple of other samples that I got to get out now that I'm back from Pittsburgh. I have some Elijah Craig Barrel Proof bottle of Wow 139.4 proof. That has to go out. So, Richie Z, did you mention the idea of viewers sending you a blended sample? Oh, Richie Z, yeah. So that's another thing that I'm working on, guys. What I want to do is, I haven't worked out the details yet, but basically what I want you guys to do, my viewers, is to create a blended sample of bourbon. I have plans to do a bourbon episode and a Scotch episode, but my first one I want to do a bourbon episode. I think I want to do a blended bourbon by you guys out there. Take your best shot, blend your. I think it's going to be. Well, I don't want to get into details yet. I'm not sure how many bourbons we're going to do, but I want you to blend your own bourbons for a couple weeks, and then I want all of you who has your blends to send them to me. I'm going to do a blind tasting of all the blends that I receive, and the winner that I picked as the best blend will get to come on the show with me. I'm going to send them a bunch of samples. They'll also get a t-shirt, and they will also get a Mash and Drum flask, which if you haven't seen yet, guys, where do I have the flask? It's somewhere. Where is it? Did I put it away? I'm not sure where the flask is. Oh, there it is. I have a Mash and Drum flask. Some of you have seen it. The winner of the kind of the blending taste test, I will send shirts. You'll get some samples, and you'll get the Mash and Drum flask for you. So details coming soon on that as well. So. Let's see, Moose, did you put the, Moose, did you throw your, oh, Monica's in, yep, there you go, Monica, she's in for the blend. That's coming soon too, guys, so like I said, I have a lot of plans coming up. It's going to be really fun. I can't wait to taste all your blends. I just have to come up with the kind of the rules for it, so, how many bourbons, proof-wise, so it should be pretty fun. I'm looking for Moose. Did you throw your email in the chat? If you haven't yet, Moose, just do that real quick. And okay, yeah, perfect. Yeah, so we got a lot coming up, guys. Again, tune in next week for the next blind sample taste test. I'm going to take my Elijah Craig Barrel Proof. Thank you for tuning in tonight, everybody. It's another fun Whiskey Wednesday. Thanks for this recap. It was a great finish off to my 2018. Got a lot of cool things coming up for 2019. My next review for 2019 is going to be the George T. Stagg of 2018. So really looking forward to trying that stuff. So with that, Glade, thanks for tuning in, guys. Really appreciate you coming. Got a lot of people watching, and as I always say, it is not about the whiskey. It is the people you share it with. Thank you so much. Cheers, and I'll see you next week, guys. Take care.